Hello and welcome to Impact Africa, our Bold Moves online talk show where we have conversation with diverse people and organizations who are impacting lives and communities positively. My name is Kemi Akiode Adebayo, also known as Mama K. Yes, that's me. In today's program, and to share a story virtually, we have a lovely, smart, dedicated, and beautiful sister of mine from another mother, Mrs. Onyinye Nwaneri. She's the Chief Executive Officer of African Tikkun Services, which is based in Johannesburg, South Africa, even though I believe they work all around South Africa. But we'll find out more about what that is. So, my dear sister, Onyinye, welcome to the program. How are you?
Welcome. Thank you very much, Mama K. I really am excited to be part of this program. Have heard about all the wonderful things you do through this program and trying to inspire people to live their best life and put a spotlight on people who have excelled in their careers. So really, really privileged to be part of this program. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's an honor. I know you're very busy and we're not going to take too much of your time. So we'll go first into it. What does your name mean and where is your name from, by the way? What does Onyinye mean? Yes, what does Onyinye mean?
Onyinye means gift of God. It actually is an Igbo name. It means it is Onyinyechukwu. Onyinyechukwu means the gift of
you see, I didn't know that it was a short form of, wow, just like mine. My own full name is Oluwakemi. But a lot of people, when they see when I write the full name, they're like, is that your name? So your full name is Onyinyechukwu, which is gift from God. Wow.
Yes.
So it's an Igbo name, and which is, so tell us, okay, where you're from, just anything you want to tell us, to share with us, your family, education, you know, your background, basically.
Thank you, Mama K. Like I said, I'm the first of 6 children. I come from Anambra State in Nigeria, from a very, very well-known town by Igbo people, also controversial, called Agupunri in Anambra State. It's often called the town where the Igbos come from.
Really?
Dated from Unri, Agupunri. In fact, if you read Things Fall Apart, it mentions in Unri that when someone hangs themselves, Unri people are often looked at as priests. So when someone hangs themselves, they often call someone from Unri to bring them down, because hanging yourself, taking your own life is an abomination. If there's someone who is an outcast, there's an argument. I don't know if you know the concept of Osu in Igbo land.
I know that one.
If they cross the rivers of Unri, then they become whole. And so I come from, what you call the bearers of the Igbo tradition. I'm
Interesting.
Proudly a daughter of 6 of an entrepreneur, 2 entrepreneurs. My mom works in the education space as an entrepreneur, also in the property space. And my dad works in the construction space, is also an entrepreneur. And so when they give
Which is what a lot of Igbos are known for, being an entrepreneur. So you were born into that.
Exactly, right? And I think...
have you heard that Harvard, and I'm sure you've heard that Harvard is actually doing a study at the moment of that apprenticeship, that the Igbos are known for, which is interesting, that Harvard, is doing that. And meanwhile, no Africa and even Nigerians have thought about, about that, apprenticeship, which a lot of Igbos are known for. But anyway, let's move on, because if not, me and you probably can talk more, but it's not about that today. So
I just wanted to say something about that. I wanted to say that, there's also a linkage. Oftentimes, people may also not know this, that there is a connection between the Igbo people and the Jewish people. The Igbo people have this model where, they take care of their own through this apprenticeship, and they bring people and they grow business and they try and grow through that, bet more businesses. And the Jewish have the same concept of, that's how the Jewish nation keeps prospering as a whole. So from our side, I'm privileged to come from where I come from. My parents being the first person in my house, my parents named me 2 names, which I think is a reflection of what I mean to them. One, that I'm the gift of God, meaning that I'm the first fruit of the womb that God gave them. Second is, my second name is called Iroma. And Iroma can mean two things, can mean fine face, as you can see. The second one, the second name, the meaning of Iroma means actually God has favored me. God has, this is God's favor. God has favored me. And the truth is that I come from a family that my father comes from a very poor background. My mother comes from a relatively wealthy background. And things were really hard for them until they gave birth to me. And my father said, as soon as they gave birth to me, it's like the windows opened.
Opened, wow.
The gates of heaven opened and prosperity came.
That's interesting. Wow. You know what? I'm going to, even before we finish, we're going to have another interview where we're going to talk about life as a Nigerian specifically and some of what you've shared. So I'm already asking in advance for come back because there's some things I've learned I didn't even know, already from you. And you're right with the Jewish link with the Igbos. One of the statistics is within the Jewish community, that money is goes within the community, I think 19 times or something before it goes out. So that means they're supporting each other. It's about community, and that's what the people are known for. Okay,
exactly.
Let's move now from Nigeria to, how did you find yourself in South Africa? When did you come to South Africa?
I came to South Africa in 2005.
Okay.
I wanted to do my master's in human rights.
So it was studies that brought you, okay?
It was studies that brought me.
So what did you study as your first degree then?
Law. I'm a lawyer by profession.
Okay.
I was doing my youth service you wouldn't believe it, in Yoruba land.
Really? What state?
Ado-Ekiti.
Wow, I haven't even been there. So where did you do your first degree? Where did you study your law?
I did my first degree in the University of Nigeria, Enugu campus.
Okay.
The bigger campus, University of Nigeria, in Nsukka, but UNN, but it's the Enugu campus which houses the law faculty. And I did my BL in law in Abuja, Abuja Law School. And then after I had completed my law school in Abuja, I went to Ado-Ekiti for youth service. And there I joined a group of individuals who were interested in social justice, especially access to justice. And that's why I fell in love with human rights law. I started representing awaiting trial prisoners, people who had no access to justice, people who were languishing in prison and could not represent themselves because they were charged with capital offenses. And then I realized that perhaps my calling is to change humanity and to be part of the change, that I want to see. And then someone brought to my attention about a master's degree in South Africa that looked at human rights and democratization. I'm also very, very passionate about justice, about good governance, about rule of law. And so that's what brought me to South Africa. I applied for a scholarship to come to University of Pretoria Center for Human Rights to do an LLM in that regard. And I was accepted, got a full scholarship to come to South Africa.
Wow, well done. You must be very brilliant. Full scholarship. Okay, so you came to, I'm really going to come back because there's other in between that we're missing there, but well, let's keep going. And don't mind me, I'm writing things down. I always do that. Now, so you left South Africa, you left Nigeria, served in did your NYC in Ado-Ekiti, then came for your law, your master's in law. Was it Victoria you did it in, or I knew you were in Cape Town. How did you end up in Cape Town?
So you get to do your master's in normally two countries or two different cities. You do your first semester or the first half of the year in University of Pretoria, and then the second half of the year you choose to do it in any of the partner universities. We have universities in Haiti, in America, in Mozambique, in Uganda, and then the other partner university, sorry about that, the other partner university, yes, the other partner university that we had to do it in was a University of the Western Cape, And in terms of the University of the Western Cape, which is in Cape Town, I thought to myself at that time that I'm never going to come back to South Africa. The truth is, I went to do, the purpose of my master's was so that I can get back to Nigeria and change Nigeria. Yeah. I never thought of myself as living outside of Nigeria. In fact, if anyone asked me that I was going to live outside of Nigeria, I would have told them it's a lie. Because I loved Nigeria very much and I wanted to be part of the change that was happening in Nigeria. So I came to, in my second semester, I then went to University of Western Cape, because I thought this was it. I want to explore South Africa, then I'm never coming back to this country again. And that's how I did my second semester in the University of Western Cape in Cape Town.
Wow. And then we will feel that part. We'll come to that part. We'll come to that part after. So, but I will come to that part in the part 2. Which is, and then you found this flower in the garden, or the flower found you. I don't even know which one goes. And then you got married, and then you ended up in Joburg. So, but what we'll do, we'll be right back just to continue on, your journey in where you are now, and we'll do that. So we'll be right back. Welcome back. So in that first segment, we spoke about life, in a little bit, in Anambra, where your life started, basically where you were born as the eldest of 6 children from a very, very strong entrepreneurship background, parents, and, studied at the University of Nigeria. You did your law, served in Ekiti. After your Mediocrity is in Ekiti State, eh? Yes, it is. It is in Ekiti. So you should be able to speak Yoruba, by the way.
I'm not a great language expert. I struggle with languages. I know Bawoni.
That's what you know. Bawoni is not even proper greeting. Anyway, we'll sort that out. So, okay, then we've now gone to where you came to Cape Town, and then you ended up in Johannesburg. So tell us a little bit about where you're working. So you're the Chief Executive Officer for African Tikkun Services. So what is the organization about? When did you join? What do you do? What's your mission? Who are your funders? Anything you want to share with us?
All right, thank you again, Mama Kay. As you mentioned, I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Africa Tikkun Services. I've been with the company for, I think this is my 13th year, if I'm correct.
Wow, that's a long time.
So I am one of the very people who have shaped the company over the long journey I've had with the company. I joined the company after a stint with the United Nations Development Program. Doing sort of a legal research or review for them in terms of the efficiency of the national AIDS commissions in 6 African countries. And at that point, I was looking to do a PhD, and I wanted to join an organization that looked at holistic development or comprehensive integrated development for women and young people. So from where I am sitting, I felt very strongly that I needed an organization that would give me the opportunity to get my hands dirty. To really,
so basically work in grassroots, where you can work, which is your passion, in terms of,
which is my passion in terms of social justice. And I joined the organization because of its vision. Its vision is to enable young people to become economically empowered.
Right.
And it does this to a cradle to career 360 model. that develops young people through the different stages of their development, all the way until they are young adults capable of employment, and then focusing on supporting them to then make sure that those young people access the economy in real time in the sense of getting employment or self-employment. So I essentially work for a social enterprise. I don't work for a not-for-profit. I work for a PTY Limited, or I lead a PTY Limited. But that PTY Limited's agenda is to use our social capital as a big organization to enable young people that come from previously disadvantaged backgrounds or vulnerable situations to be able to break through into the economy.
Wow. So basically you're an entrepreneur, you know, that's what you are. You're an entrepreneur within the organization. So what has been some of your success story that you would want to share with us? Any success story you want to share with us with the organization, the company?
So, well, I'm one of, maybe I start with myself. I'm one of the, what you would call success story within the organization itself. You know, when I joined the organization, one, you need to understand that South Africa is a challenging environment for foreigners like myself. And I joined the organization, you know, as what you would call a partnership officer. And I had to work my way in the organization from being a partnership officer to, you know, becoming the head of the marketing and partnership division, to becoming the head of strategy, over a period of time, to establishing this company that I'm the CEO now of. And then afterwards.
So you were part of the establishment of it. So it's like
I personally created the company.
It's your baby, exactly.
Part of the group. It's my baby. And we gave it originally to a South African CEO. And then later on, we felt that, you know, if I created the baby, I need to make this baby work. And I'm very proud of what I have achieved in terms of the baby because of the passion. When I took over the baby, by the way, Afrika Tikkun is a massive organization. It's an organization that has been around since 1994. The company that I lead started in 2012, was actually established in 2012, became operational in 2013. I became its CEO in 2019. I ran it indirectly in 2018, leading still within the not-for-profit arm of the organization, and I became officially the CEO in 2019. Thank you. When I became the CEO of this company, it was just over 10 million rands. Within 1 year of becoming the CEO, we took it to 38 million rands turnover.
Wow.
Within 2 years of becoming, last year, we turned it over to almost 50 million. This year, we are taking it to 80 million. We've taken it to a massive organization. We're heading to 100 million rands in terms of turnover. And I must say, it's by the grace of God, God has surrounded me with great people and favored me in more ways. So I think that's a lot of success. We average 6,000 young people every single year. We place close to 2,000 young people in economic opportunities. We're creating 100 businesses this year as entrepreneurs. We pay for school fees last year for 100 people to go to tertiary education. And so the amount of impact that we make on an ongoing basis is massive, for which, you know, I think it's a success. We've changed many lives. We put people, when I walk into restaurants, when I walk into companies, someone says to me, you know what, I was in Investec the other day. Hi, mom, hey, mom. You know, Investec, thanks to you. I said, wow. You know, in different companies we work in, and we see our young people, you know, becoming successful. And my vision is to get to a point where we build the next generation of Africans who are able to move beyond the bread and butter conversation, where they can have engaged with their country, with their politics, with government, with economics, not because of how hungry they are, but because of what they can bring to the party. Because the only way you can change our generation and to change the continent that we want Africa to be the best continent and take its place in the world, given it's the way it's blessed, the only way is to raise that generation, is to move away from having a lot of young people living in poverty and cannot engage. And so if we can move the needle in terms of the unemployment needle to employment or self-employment needle and create wealth within Africa itself. And that's why I have no intention of migrating outside of Africa, because I said I want to be part of the generation that builds that vision that we have for this continent. Because if we all run away and go and sit in diaspora, who is going to change it? And so if I can be part of the solution in terms of enabling as many young people as possible to not just acquire education, acquire skills, acquire life-related skills and leadership skills, but more importantly, have food on the table, put roof over their heads, and can engage in a way that they're not dependent on anyone to be able to make decisions concerning their lives.
Wow, I could sit. I really didn't want to stop you there, and I'm looking, and I'm sure some of our viewers as well be looking, especially the Nigerians, to think, so why are you not helping us in Nigeria? Why? But let's leave that conversation till when we talk about Nigeria. And that was one of the reasons for me why I felt, you're not South African, but I wanted to feature you as part of the women, who are really should be celebrated in South Africa, because you are, impacting so much. And I didn't even know some of these deeper stories of what, the figures, the statistics, but I know, from knowing you. So kudos and respect to you. We've already going, I'm being told already that time, and things like that. And we haven't even gone into the deeper things, but we are going to go over time, and that's fine. This should actually be a 1 hour, 45 minutes program, and we'll see how it goes. So you said something there, in terms of, that with Afrika Tikkun being the services, the social enterprise of Afrika Tikkun, being something you helped create, and it was run initially by South Africa, and then you were asked to come on to it. So I want to ask now, in terms of what are some of the challenges you've had, unless there's been none, as an expatriate or African migrant who has come to South Africa, or even as a woman in leadership within the organization. So what are some of the challenges you've had? And even if it's just one or two that you pick, and how were you able to overcome it? What steps, what did you do? I know, yes, like you said, your name, God favored you and surrounding you. But apart from, what were the practical, steps, or how you managed to overcome some of those challenges? How did you handle that? Even if it's just one experience you want to share.
Thank you again, Mama K. First of all, let me correct something. I see myself first as an African, and then I have strong roots in South Africa. I've lived many, many years in South Africa. My children are South African. My husband, even though Nigerian, is also a South African citizen. I believe that God has put me in this country for a reason. If the choice of being in Nigeria to change the status quo was not the choice of God for me, then I am now here to create, there's a reason for me here. And the reason for me here is to contribute to the change that we want to see in the country, and to see growth and prosperity and empowerment taking place, and transformation. A lot of South Africans talk about transformation. And I'm really intentional about transformation in this country. And so in terms of, going back to your question around what are the key challenges that I have seen having across my journey as a foreigner. Yes, we always know that we're a foreigner, and it's you, or you people always remind you that when it comes to BE, you are not BE. But at the end of the day, I think your passion and your vision is what takes you through. And so the challenge is, there's always challenges. I am the only female in our senior executive team. For many, many years, I remain the only female in the executive team. Wow. In terms of that. So I am also, in the beginning, the only foreigner as well, in terms of the executive team. And so it's always challenging to try and get your point across. And especially as a woman, people often think that you're emotional when you're trying to get your point across. And I have learned over time to sort of, I want to say, pace the way that I focus on the facts, because if you want to succeed in a senior executive role, you have to focus on the facts and not on passion or emotion, so that people don't see your passion, even though your passion is important, but that people are able to dispassionately look at the facts. And so I have learned a lot. And I have been in leadership for more than 10 years, going to, if not 12 years. overall. And so being in leadership, over time, you begin to recognize, how to play boardroom politics, how to play, how to engage in a leadership platform. And so for me, even though there was those challenges in terms of, trying to manage your emotions, especially as a woman, but at the same time, over time, you grow to understand what enables people to see your point of view, and sometimes to agree to disagree. You don't always have to agree. I think that's a common factor in terms of that. And I've also been in situations where people say, but why a foreigner? Why is a foreigner leading us? Is there not enough South African? And I've had to show people that it's not so much, that in fact, coming from my background, people often think so much about boundaries. And I had to teach them about that boundaries are the creature of colonialism. The truth is that, South Africa is South Africa because the white man told you so, as an effect of colonialism. And they sat and looked at Africa and drew what was Nigeria and drew what was South Africa. And then you all of a sudden turn around and say, that person is different from me. And I have had to work very hard, to show people that the key is that we need to focus as a collective. We've got a mandate. Build up each other. We've got a mandate. Look at our continent. Our continent is very blessed in terms of natural resources, blessed in terms of youthful population, blessed in terms of intellect. Look at Africans, when they go overseas in the diaspora, they are on top of their game. They are celebrated in terms of huge accolades. And if we can retain a percentage of those brains and try and harness it within the African continent, no one can touch us. And so I focused more on, instead of what divides us, what builds us? What do we have in common? And how can we together get to the ultimate goal? Because people who don't want you to build together wants to divide you. So the focus will be, what is it that makes us different? And so rather than focusing on our differences, I have all through my leadership life focused on what makes us common, focused on the key outcomes. Most people who know me say I'm very results driven. I'm very results orientated, because at the end of the day, in my mind, that's what counts. Is what can we show for having lived in this world for whatever number of years? What can we show for it? What's the legacy we leave? When I die tomorrow, or when you die tomorrow, or anyone else, what would people remember you for? So a life of significance is the focus.
Wow. Whoa. Wait, everything we have in part 2, part 3, part 4. Don't worry. We'll be back, because I'm just saying, okay, there's a lot in there, that I know, that people, want to hear. And there's just a lot there. So let's just stop and pause, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And wow, it's been an interesting, insightful conversation. And there's just so much to learn from this young lady who I'm proud to call my sister. Now, I just want to ask now, let me now narrow it down to Onye, the mother, the wife, the sister, the daughter, the friend, the colleague, and everything, different, multiple roles, church member, whatever else you do. What motivates you, and what kind of a person, would people describe you as? What keeps you going, in terms of this, your passion of social justice and everything else, love for Africa, love for young people? What keeps you going? And what are your qualities? Because those are the qualities that made you who you are, in terms of what you are. So hopefully this is not about blowing your trumpet, but I loved the fact that earlier on, the success story you shared was your story. So for me, I'm hoping more people will learn from that don't be shy about, selling yourself or being proud of your journey, because this is what it is. If you don't, nobody else will sell you. So yeah, please. What keeps you going, and what do you do in your spare time? What hobbies, if you have any? What hobbies do you have?
What keeps me going, or what enabled me to become who I am? I would first of all maybe start off with my parents. I think my parents did a great job in.
I'm sure. Kudos to them.
And they pushed us hard. They made us not just I remember when I was growing up, if you come with second, my mother would say the person who got first, they have two heads.
It's the Nigerian thing. It's the Nigerian thing. We all got it.
So my parents did not tolerate mediocrity. They taught us not to settle. They taught us to go-getters, they taught us the concept of hard work, to push and push until you push through, to really, really strive for excellence, but also strive to that wherever it is that we go, that we make a mark. That's why, if you look at my entire university, I finished all through my life because I didn't know any other way, because that's how I was raised. I sat at excellence. I was one of the top in my university. I was one of the top, top in law school in terms of celebrated in law school. I came into my master's, I won awards in my master's. So already I knew I wasn't satisfied with mediocrity. I couldn't settle. So to start off with, my parents did a fantastic job in enabling me to want to be the best that I can. And then I don't know whether rightly or wrong, when I then decided to get married, I married a handsome young man who also pushed me. I now wanted to relax. You know what? I want someone to take care of me now. I'm now what you call in Nigeria, Oriako. I want to sort of enjoy the wealth of my husband. And then my husband said, no. And my husband said, no. We are here. We didn't come to South Africa to count robots. And so also I have a husband who pushes hard, wants me to be best, wants me to excel, wants me to get to the pinnacle of my career, wants me to really, like he doesn't. Any day I came in and said, I'm having a bad day, he said, oh, how did that happen? Why didn't you do this? And instead of you think sometimes he would be the shoulder to cry. No, he holds you accountable to the standards in which he expects of himself. So I do want to also sort of give him credit in pushing me to best and supporting me in terms of that. So that has really, really shaped who I am. I'm extremely hardworking. People often say I'm sometimes a workaholic.
Welcome to the club. I'm sure you are. You are.
And very results orientated, like I said. I want to see. I am one of those people that I can talk. I've got the natural ability to talk, but I don't like too much talk. I like doing the gift, but I want to do. I want to see, because a lot of people in my world that talk and talk and talk, but when you want to see what is that, there's no action. You can't see tangibly what is coming out of from what they have said to you. And then I'm also very a principled person. I believe in the principles of honesty and integrity. Really, really, two principles very important to me is honesty and integrity, quality and excellence.
Mine as well.
Really critical for me, empowerment, and then of course Ubuntu. Ubuntu is I am, because we are. The only way we can change is because I am able to become. If all of us become our best selves, then we all become. And my contribution to the society is part of our collective. So the parts of the whole make up the whole. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Oh, 100%.
So those things really matter to me. And then of course my children. I want to leave a legacy, not just for myself, but I want to leave a legacy for my children. I want them to see, like now my daughter understands that we don't settle, and my daughter doesn't want to settle. I want to create human beings, or facilitate the creation of human beings who want to excel, who want to build until we get to a point where we feel like we've gotten to where we need to be.
Wow. Well, you didn't touch on some things, but it's okay. Since we're coming back, I can find all that out later on. I'm already planning for part 2. Okay. Well, because I know now we're kind of running out of time, now, and there's a lot, in there, and real kudos to your family, your parents, your husband, and your children, for the impacts, they're your support system, I guess, as well. They
also, Can I say this? If you really want to succeed, I also want to give tribute to those. There's something people often underestimate it, and that's why a lot of African young people, South African young people don't succeed in life. It's called social capital. You know, it's your network. It's surrounding yourself with people who are able to pull you up, are able to, and I want to give tribute to, you know, I've worked really with beautiful people. My boss, Mark Lobner, you know, I've worked with this company for a long time. And so surrounding yourself with the Lobner family, for example, you know, surrounding yourself with people who have the same agenda as you, people who share the same objective, the same common purpose with you, people who are better than you, people whom you can learn from. I think that's also a critical factor in success. I always say to my team, you know, I like to have every voice in the room. I like to hear voices other than my own. Everyone's got a voice, because the truth is, if everyone is saying yes to you, you're in total trouble.
Yep.
Because you are now believing in your own magic. You need people, other voices in the room to challenge you. Perspective. And I love it. I love debates. I love people to challenge me. And maybe it's the lawyer in me, because then that's the way that we are able to argue, disagree, agree, but you get perspectives, because that's what makes you to be able to have a holistic view and make good decisions. So that's also something that has helped build me, just making sure that you have the right people around you and that you allow them to be able to voice their opinions, voice their perspectives, come up with their own ideas. And the honest truth is that we're all richer for it.
A lot in there. Okay. My last question, my second to the last question, although the last one is not a question, but my second, so we're almost there, is I'm going to skip a lot because we need to come back, you know, to those ones, because we really need to go into them, you know, as well. So what kind of future would you like to see for our women and our young people in Africa, be it South Africa, be it Nigeria, be it Kenya, be it Ethiopia? Because what, you know, I'm finding out is we all have that common trend, you know, with us in Africa as a whole. Yes, maybe one country is on this side up there and the other one on, you know, women issue or whatever the issues are. But most of the time, we all have that common thing, you know, that we all face. But not about the issues, but what future would you like to see and what solutions will we have for our women and our young people?
The future I want to see for women and our young people is linked to the future where our women take their place in the world. I think a lot of progress has been made. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we haven't seen progress in the African continent. We have seen more women in cabinets, more women in government, more women leading. But I think it's more in the upper class, middle class, I would say more upper class. And I think there's a lot of work that we need to do as women to just raise the bar in terms of taking the people who are at the bottom, you know, to middle class. I want to see more middle class women across Africa. But if you ask me specifically in the interest of time is, you know, I got tired. I was reflecting about it as we celebrate Women's Month in particular. You know, it's easy for us to turn around and talk about patriarchy and how patriarchy has destroyed us as women and continues to be a debilitating factor. Fact, yes, that's there. We continue to talk about things like gender-based violence. We're still talking about female genital mutilation. We're still talking about early marriages, all of those things. And I think at some point we need to stop. And I think this has worked for me personally as a leader, as a business leader, that many times we focus on all the noises that take away from us, all the problems that take away from us, and look at all the causes of those problems, root causes. And I understand that there's a place for it. I decided that this Women's Month, that the focus should be on ourselves as women. Not what others can do for us, men who will stop beating us or killing us or whatever, not what others can do for us, but what we can do for ourselves. And I started speaking about a theme called the power of the pack, because I think we're more
power of the
pack. like the pack of lions.
Yeah,
How do lions succeed? The power of the pack. The power of the pack is that women who support women are more successful. And a lot of times, women have focused on, are more on competing with each other than collaborating with each other. And we often, when you see a woman CEO, a woman leader, and that woman leader is a little bit high opinionated, you say, oh my God, he's her highway or the highway or whatever. But if a man behaves the same, it's okay. And so we see we're so critical of, I use that example for someone recently, and I said, when a man is cheating on a woman, you see the wife come in and beat the girlfriend and forget that.
Exactly. Like, come on.
The woman was on their own on the street. So my concern is that we just focus on fighting ourselves, not as much on lifting ourselves. And so I want to challenge all women this Women's Day to focus on supporting each other, to understand that we stand to gain more collaborating. In fact, there's more evidence that when women support each other, the women that support each other and lift each other are more successful than women who compete with each other, who criticize each other. And so this Women's Month, the focus in my mind is, what are we doing to lift up others? What are we doing fix others' crowns? What are we doing to create employment for women? How are we doing to support women entrepreneurs? What are we doing to celebrate women? What are we doing to ensure that, because if more and more women are economically empowered, less and less they're dependent on men. And I'm not saying there's a place for marriage, I'm in one. But at the same time, if my entire life does not revolve around a man, and therefore without him, I cannot do anything in my life. And stop. So I need to be, first of all, I say it's whole people, create whole people, hot people, broken people, break people. And so the only way in Women's Month that we move away, cancel all the noises of who is doing what to us and who is not, who is responsible, where is, and let's focus on ourselves and build ourselves and build the power. That's why I said the power of the pack. The power of the pack is about building a collective of women who are able in themselves to succeed, irrespective of what, no matter what. And I can bet you that if our counterparts start seeing what we can do for ourselves, how we are lifting ourselves in boardrooms, in leadership positions, in entrepreneurship, in all sorts of spheres of life, no matter how small, how we're celebrating ourselves across different spheres, they will turn around and notice. I said that in my, why have I been very successful in Afrika Tikkun services? Because I'm not one person that focuses on politics. I don't go and listen to all people. I stay on my lane, JJ, like in, I stay on my lane. And I bring alongside those who want to work with me, empower them along the way. So if we can focus on what's going for us and focus on working collectively and collaboratively, focus on building each other, focus on challenging each other to be our best selves, focus on all the right things. Trust me, other people will stand up and notice and take us seriously.
Wow. No wonder me and you gel, yeah? I was like, I'm looking at myself talking and I'm like, oh, okay. But no. Okay. We'll be right back because we need to be right back. So we'll be right back. Okay. John, I need to open the door. So let me just pick it open and then we'll come. Okay. All right, I'm back. We're just going to round up now. We're done, and I'm just going to say about the closing. Yeah, okay. Okay, wow. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. So in closing, because yeah, we are going to be back. We're really going to have more conversation with you and even with other women, because what I'm finding out is there are a lot of women saying exactly what you're saying in some, part of what I've been doing. And so I'm thinking, okay, how more can we go beyond just talking? Because I know we're all doing things on our own, in our own way, but let's keep looking at, okay, how else can we develop, that collaboration or synergy or, being on the same kind of ground. So in closing, what tips or advice or anything, whatever, anything you want to share with our viewers, especially women, and since it's Women's Month, and young girls?
Thank you again, Mama Kay. I'm good. I have so much to say, and I'm trying to figure out let me try and keep it brief. First of all, I like authentic people. So I want to suggest and potentially give people tips that you don't need to be who you are not. Because who you are is beautiful. You're beautiful already in yourself. And I want to challenge a lot of women and young women who feel like they need to make themselves into something else so that they can be accepted, and they do change who they are, especially in public or professionally. I say your authentic self is enough. And if people cannot accept you for who you are, then they're not worth your time and they're not worthy to be in your life. So stay authentic as much as you can. If possible, I suggest people prefer and appreciate authentic people, because that's what they buy. People buy from people in business. People give to people. When a person notices that you're not real, that you are fake, then automatically they may stay your friend, but they will know that they cannot trust you for anything. So trust is built through authenticity. The second tip I want to suggest is passion. What's your passion? What do you care about? Because that's what's going to take you far. That's what's going to wake you up every morning, and that's going to get you up and ensure that you are successful in whatever you do. The reason why I have been able to turn around the company that I became the CEO in 2019 from under 10 million rands to almost close to 80 million in less than 3 years, 2 years, particularly less than 3 years, is because I'm passionate about what I do. When I wake up in the morning, I want to change the world. I want to leave the world a better place, and I want to solve the problem of youth unemployment. I say to my team, our big, hairy, audacious goal is to end youth unemployment in our lifetime, if not reduce it. And so the focus is really passion. If you're doing something that you're naturally passionate about, that you know that you cannot rest unless you see that this changes in your lifetime, then then the right people will surround, which is my third tip to you, is social capital. People give to people. If you are hiding away, you are not creating the connections in an authentic way that is able to buy into your vision, your passion, whatever it is in the workplace, in a business sense, then who's going to support you? What we're lacking, that's how the Jewish nation built one of the most successful nations in the world. Go to America, come to South Africa, they hold the wealth of the countries that they have been in, because they understand the concept of networks and social capital. And so make those connections, put yourself out there, make friends, force yourself to engage in conversations and get to know people, of course, authentically in that direction, because you never know. Someone often said that it takes 5 people, you're 5 people away from your break. I think I'll stop there.
Wow, what a story, what a conversation. I've learned, I've been inspired, I've been empowered, and I'm sure people out there, I've been proud, as well. And I've been humbled, as well. So thank you, Mrs. Onyinye Nwaneri, for all you're doing, CEO of Africa Tikkun Services, Pty, and the work you're doing across South Africa. What plans for you is still unfolding. So I wish you all the very, very best. There's been a lot there. I don't even want to recap, because if I recap, I'm going to just keep going. So you need to watch this video and keep watching and watching. And those 3 tips, that you gave at the end, just summarizes everything basically. Staying authentic. Let me just make sure I don't miss it. What is your passion? Number 2, and number 3, social capital. So for our women, our young people, even the boys, because I know sometimes we call the girls all the time, who is looking after our boys? And I have boys. So I'm always like, okay, even though we know, men at the moment rule the world, and we're focusing on the women and, active about the young girls. But we should still continue, not leave our boys, on the side. And we have a lot of men who, sign into raising the flag and the banner for us as women. You mentioned your husband, Mr. Victor Nwaneri, and I'm proud as well of my husband who helped you, as a woman and allows you to be out there to do what you're doing. So thank you. We wish you all the very best. And looking forward again to our next conversation already. I'm already counting down to it because I've got ideas on, areas that we can talk about. And yes, we need to keep talking, and hopefully it will inspire others, or it will allow us as well to action, other areas. So thank you, for your time, and we wish you all the very best. And thank you to your employees as well, for the trust, that they have in you, because you proved yourself. And I'm sure as a woman, you probably have, constantly prove yourself as a woman, from Africa, and as a woman from Nigeria, so thank you. And, to them for believing in you, because if they don't believe in you, frustrates all your efforts, which I'm sure there would have been challenges along the way as well. But you proved yourself, and now to prove yourself each time. And like you said, your parents brought you up not to settle for mediocrity, strive for excellence. So it's the excellence they see in you. So thank you. We celebrate you, and we commend you, and we wish you all the very best for the future. And that's
Thank
it.
you. Thank you, Mama Kay. Very honored to be on your show, and it's a real privilege for me. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. So, well, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you for allowing us to go over our usual time, because it is a special edition, even though it's not a special series. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate you. Until next time at Impact Africa, this is Mama Kay signing off, wishing you all the very best. God bless. Love you guys. Stay safe and stay prayerful.